listener here, and I'd like to get your input on that. So I really like and support getting rid of your gravity, getting rid of what's pulling you down. And I'll share with you one of the most frequent gravity we have in our community. It's body image for women, right? The concept of what society pushes us to look like versus what we are, and having that gravity constantly preventing us, stopping us from doing things and suffering.
Yep.
I'd like to have your thoughts on that perspective of gravity, if you have any.
Well, so I can relate just a little bit. I've always been thin, and I've never had a weight problem. But I'm starting now. I've got the stuff going around my midsection, and I've actually had myself my body fat tested. And everywhere my body fat's pretty good, but everywhere I don't want it to be, it's way worse than everywhere else. And so, the concept of looking good naked, I don't think I look good naked. But I don't want to pretend that I can relate to that. But what I can say is, if you get the other stuff right, if you figure out what it is you want, why you're here, what you really want, and you get engaged in that, you go through the process and you answer the questions, and you bring those powers of priority into your life, you bring the power of your heart into your life, you are so engaged and focused on doing your thing because it's going to help other people, your body image is not going to be your issue. You're too busy to deal with your body image. Your gravity won't matter. That's what I've discovered. You don't actually have to work on your gravity. When I was talking about getting rid of things, that's not gravity so much as gravity's inside. It's how you see the world. It's not outside you. The things that's holding your life in place are inside you. You're doing lots of things outside, probably a lot of which, if you're not happy, a lot of which you shouldn't be doing. If you're not satisfied with your life, a lot of things you're doing, you shouldn't be doing. Now, you might feel like you have to do it, or you might be obligated to do it. You might be in a marriage that you need to get out of, and you can't do it tomorrow. But you can sure identify that this is not what I want to be and start working on it. I met the lady I told you about. Her big change in her life also came from a divorce, and it also came not of her own doing. And both of us admit that I didn't have the courage to divorce my wife. I just didn't. I can tell you I'm this strong, powerful. I did not have the courage to divorce my wife. And I was lying to myself that, we're supposed to stay together. I made the promise. I was doing all the things that I would tell you not to do. I was doing those things. And then she divorced me, and I was like, oh, fantastic. But what I've learned is, if body image is a thing that's holding you back, I would not worry about body image. My advice would be where I am today is forget about that. Figure out where you want to be tomorrow. And not from a body image standpoint. What is it you want to be doing? Who do you want to be as a person? How engaged do you want to be in the world? What kind of changes do you want to make in the world? When you're fired up, you're not going to care about if you're a little overweight. And if you're fired up and you're tending to yourself, that'll probably even change.
Absolutely. That is exactly what I would answer to that question. Like, don't let what you believe to be the issue, the external issue, don't let it pull you down, right? Focus on the positive inside of you, right? What your priority, your heart, how you can bring Serabenti into your life and bring forward to the world something positive. Don't let that negativity brings you down.
Yeah, and may I add one more thing, Stephanie?
Go for it.
And we live in this interesting time, in this interesting place of Western civilization. And in Western civilization, I'm learning a lot, and you guys are involved in food. We're learning a lot of things that we've been told with food that are completely lies, completely wrong, and we've been poisoning ourselves. We've been told with body image how we're supposed to look. And I wish I could remember this graphic, but there is a graphic because I'm a little bit of a diva with body image myself. And so I want to get rid of that fat. And I saw this thing. It said, took a look at a person, human being, from overweight to, like rock star fitness, low fat, no fat. And then they added to it how much work you would have to do to get to each of those levels. And the bottom line is, I'm not willing to work. I like to drink wine and beer, and I like to enjoy my life. I'm not willing to work hard enough to have no body fat. That's just the bottom line. So as soon as I can get over that, do one of two things. Either decide that I can get to no body fat. I know I could do that. I'd have to change my life. It's not important to me. It's not important enough. So I throw it out and I forget about it. The other thing I was going to say, though, well, we've created these false, maybe it's a false god, but these false images of what we're supposed to be like. And my wife and I just went on a cruise, an art cruise, and we're looking at all these historical masterpieces of art. What do you think the women look like? They did not look like runway models. They look like people that say, I have a weight problem. So who's to say what the body is supposed to look like? It never looked like we think it looks today in history. It didn't. So I think it's kind of a false image that we're chasing.
It's amazing because I just wrote a newsletter to my community yesterday with this exact analogy to the museum and the portrait we see of women back in the 1700 or 1800 versus what it is today. So yeah. Great response to that.
I'll add one more because I've thought a lot about this, and I live on a beautiful property that we bought here in North Carolina. We've got about 200, maybe 250 trees on our property, and if you walk around and you look at trees, all of them have some disformity, and some are big, some are skinny, some are fat, some are taller than others, and we don't say, look at that ugly, that one's ugly, because it doesn't fit the perfect shape of a tree. We don't do that. We don't do that for our animals. We don't do that for nature. We only do it to ourselves. We don't even do it to our friends. We just do it to ourselves. So I think we should stop doing it to ourselves. And the process that I'm happy I stumbled upon, it says you don't have to worry about your gravity. Worry about what you want to be doing, and that's going to solve a lot of problems.